My friend says caffeine's a drug. I said, oh, tell your friend, fuck you.
I don't want to be your buddy, Rick. I just want a little breakfast.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Breakfast Punk's podcast. It's a podcast about coffee, donuts, DIY punk, and pretty much anything else we fancy talking about. From Hastings in the UK, I'm Dave, aka Sham City Roasters.
And I'm Siobhan, aka Deadbeat Donuts.
And basically each episode we're going to be drinking a different indie coffee and eating some vegan treats and telling you about them and talking about a load of rubbish as well. This week we've just literally finished a massive fried breakfast.
Exactly. Excuse any breakfast burps I might have.
Or any dropping off that might happen.
But yeah, so each week we're going to try and find a new or local vegan treat. We sorted this out only about a day ago, so we haven't had time to order in anything from our lovely local vegan eateries and home bakers and all that, but we'll do that in the future. We're going to try and seek out new and lovely things. But so this week we did a big fried breakfast, a bit like how we used to in our cafe that we used to have in the old town of Hastings. We'll talk a bit about the cafe later. But yeah, so it was really nice. It's quite nice to have a big fry up. I haven't done that in ages.
We haven't done it for ages.
And scrambled tofu recipe. If anyone wants it, message us because we don't need it for the cafe anymore. So if anyone wants it,
our secret's going to be yours.
And to be honest, we change it every time, so I might give each person a different one because why not? But yeah, so that's that. Yeah,
and we're also going to be drinking a different coffee every week. Normally it will be an indie coffee that isn't just me, but this week, like we say, we've only had a couple of days to prepare for this, which I'm sure won't be obvious because we're true professionals.
This is so slick.
But this week we are drinking the current limited edition that we've got called What We Brew is Secret, which is a nice Germs reference, and it is a single origin Colombian, and it's very delicious.
It's very nice.
Also this week we are going to be talking about the shit show that was 2020, and we're also going to be discussing a rather excellent film.
Oh yes, Snake Outta Compton. Very good. We'll talk about that later.
Would recommend. But first of all, we're going to kick off with some music, and this first song is by Falaun. The song is called Sick. Falaun are from Liverpool. Their debut album, Fools, was released last year on CD, and it's just recently been released again on a lathe-cut vinyl on Anxiety Attack Records. It's absolutely brilliant. Probably my favourite album of last year, and one of my favourite bands. And here it is, Falaun with Sick.
God, that was good. Falaun. I love
Yeah.
that band.
Really good band.
That album was amazing from last year. I don't know, one of my favourites probably.
Yeah.
I remember, I think the first time I even saw Falaun was at What's It Called Fest. Whenever they played, was it the last time?
Yeah, it was.
Last time?
So not last year because it didn't happen,
It
but
didn't
yeah, the year
happen.
before, 2019.
2019, yeah. And yeah, I thought they were definitely one of my favourite bands that played that year. I just thought they were so different and so I don't know, just so awesome. Really
Yeah.
liked them.
It was a good year too.
Good year. Who else played?
Citizen Fish.
Oh, no, that was good.
Haste.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was really good. Sweet. So, something we're going to do each show is a little, I don't know, we've inverted commas news, where me and Dave are going to bring different topics to briefly discuss. We'll have a main topic to talk about later, but this bit's just going to be a little bit with different topics, as it were. Dave's got
I have a sound clip.
Dave's got a sound clip.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
News.
That was good, wasn't it?
It was good, actually. Always love a bit of Alan Partridge. So I'll start. I'm going to start with, okay, it's a bit basic and boring potentially, but it's Veganuary, which seems to have become a tradition for the last, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years.
I think it's been going a lot longer than that.
Has it?
Yeah, I think it's been...
Is it an actual thing that's happened a long time? It's a bit like that kind of Stoptober and all these different months that get dedicated to different, I don't know, giving up of things or starting things. And Veganuary started where for January, veganism has pushed people to try veganism for a month. Which does a lot of good just for doing it for a month, and then there's a lot of people that carry on and do it forever and ever and ever, which is pretty awesome. And there are a lot of people who actually became vegan during this month in the years past, so good on them.
Yeah.
And as someone who's already vegan, it's quite exciting because there's new products out there to try, although again we must try and not just flock to the big corporations that usually make meat and then start making not meat for a month and make their money. But there's tons of independent places you can go and get stuff from.
It's incredibly easy, I would say, to be vegan nowadays for a month if you just go to supermarkets and what have you. And it's brilliant, obviously. But definitely if you're doing it, try and seek out, I guess, like local vegan manufacturers and local bakeries and stuff, because I'm sure there's millions. There's certainly loads in Hastings, so if you're local to here, just
I mean, we're really lucky. Loads of places around here do really good vegan options or are really vegan conscious all year anyway. And again, we're going to try and, as we said earlier, we're going to try and eat different things from local places that are vegan each show, so hopefully we'll get a chance to feature a lot of them. What are we doing? I've been getting really into making seitan, which, I mean, that's my equivalent of everyone else making bread this year, I think. I know someone invited me to a Facebook group called the Seitan Appreciation Society.
Cool dudes, those Seitan Appreciation Society people.
Very cool. But sadly, I do look at it a lot, and I've learnt quite a lot off there so far. We just made some little, like, chicken style, I don't know, so seitan's this thing that has existed for ages. I think it's like a East Asian, it's eaten in, like, Buddhist monks eat it because they're vegetarian. Yeah, it's a thing. So seitan's existed forever. Seitan and tempeh and all that stuff has existed in, like, the Eastern countries for a lot longer than we've used it. I'm probably messing up all my facts, but that is very true.
Good facts. Just don't Google them, and then
just don't check that they're actually true. But then we've started using seitan in kind of like Western culture a bit more, with the, like, pressure to have meat substitutions, which I don't know is or isn't a good idea. But seitan's quite good. It's quite fun. It's good for you. I always thought it was not good for you, but actually turns out it is. And yeah, it's been quite fun doing that.
Well, I'm more of a cook's booksman.
Oh yeah, you love your little cookbooks.
As opposed to an internetsman.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's something much nicer about making something out of a cookbook.
Oh, I love.
So if you're like me and old, you should get the Veganomicon. That's really, really good. There's loads of really nice things in there, and it's just one of those things it's really like useful. It's not just like recipes of make this thing for your dinner. There's also loads of, like, just sort of tips and little things that you can make and keep. So I'd get that if I were you. Yeah,
and you've got that. Was it Another Dinner is Possible book?
That's my favourite, but that's really old school.
It is really old school.
That's I think that's made by people who probably are no longer, but they were when the Cowley Club in Brighton first opened up, which is like an anarchist centre that put on gigs, and they used to, I think they still do, in fact they definitely do still have, like, cafes, and they do loads of cool stuff. When that very first opened, which I don't know when that would have been, some of the people involved in it put out this cookbook, and that's amazing, but that's really old school.
Oh, it's nice though.
I like it. Well, I have got a couple of literary releases,
Ooh,
which
you are
sounds
good.
much more highbrow than it actually is. I think a lot of people have know about this. I'm sure a lot of people are in it. Is a book called The Scene That Would Not Die, 20 Years of Post-Millennial Punk in the UK. It's Ian Glasper's new book. He's done, I think this is his 4th or 5th. Started with anarcho-punk and has kind of gone through all the various things. It's a really big book. It's got some great bands in it. Two Sick Monkeys are in it, The Domestics are in it, Grand Collapse are in it, Pizza Tramp are in it,
Casual Nausea.
Casual Nausea are in it. I mean, there's millions, absolutely millions. It's a good book. It's well worth getting. There's a lot of missing bands in it, I would say, but I didn't sit down and write a 400-odd page book, so it's not for me to say. And I'm just not talking about my band.
Yeah, or
by the way.
the name of your band does appear in there under someone else's.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Thanks, Pizza Tramp. The best thing you ever did for us. And another couple of releases. A couple of fanzines. Martin Appleby, who is a Hastings poet, has just put out a little chapbook called An Advertisement from the Edge of Hell. He's put it out himself through Paper and Ink, which is his poetry label. No, publishing
Is it
place.
zine?
Zine,
Poetry
publishers.
zine company business.
It's absolutely brilliant. All of his stuff is great. He's also got another one coming out soon, which is about mumblecore, the film movement, mumblecore from the sort of early noughties, which I have a poem in.
No, of course.
It's the only reason I bring any of this up. And the last one I've got is called Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. It's by Miff Pleasant, who's a lovely person from Ipswich. And it's a photography zine, and his pictures are just fucking great. It stars quite a few members of the Ipswich DIY scene, including members
really
of Casual
nice.
Nausea. And yeah, it's a really nice zine. So if you can, that one might have gone. No, no idea. But
Look it up
check
anyway.
out Miff Pleasant and buy his stuff if you can.
Aw, that was really nice. I like
Yeah.
that. Yay. So another thing I'm bringing up, for those who know us, they might know that we like wrestling. Not doing it ourselves, that sounds awful. Watching I don't know. I'd love to be a wrestler.
You
Sorry.
would. You've said that before.
I think
You
I'd be
know
really
that when
good.
you're drunk, you really want to be a wrestler.
I think I could do it.
You could.
I'm too scared of breaking my ankles.
Yeah.
But anyway, wrestling, it's not dead. I mean, it is kind of crap.
It's
but-
kind of sad. It's limping.
it's limping. But there's a what's it called? A promotion company called AEW. Because people might have heard of things like WWE and WCW of the past, but AEW is the one that we watch nowadays. It's far better. It's probably the most like independent version of a big one, in as much as it was a couple of wrestlers that made it themselves because they were sick of not being able to control what they were doing, not being able to have their own storylines, have ownership of their own names, and there's a lot of drama backstage in this wrestling business. Anyway, AEW is really good, and on it they have a wrestler, or had a wrestler called Brody Lee, who sadly passed away just after Christmas. He was 41 years old. He anyone who watched WWE, he was Luke Harper on WWE, and he came to AEW just as the COVID pandemic was starting. He was meant to have his first show in his hometown of Rochester, but AEW, what they did is they carried on doing shows from their training arena bit in Jacksonville, I think it is, or that's where near their training bit or something.
Yeah, the guy who runs its dad owns.
Oh, he owns the Jacksonville.
No idea, but some sports
whatever
team.
that-
I'm not a sportsman.
Yeah, you're not a sportsman. So anyway, this Brody Lee guy, he did manage to come out, and he was probably overlooked a lot in WWE, but when he came to AEW, he was celebrated. He led a faction, and he got to win a title, and it was just really good. But bless his heart, he passed away after Christmas. Like I say, he was only 41. So AEW did this. They had loads of plans for shows over Christmas and New Year's, but they cancelled them for that week and did this like tribute show to him. And it could have easily been really not good. It could have been really schlocky and horrible, but it ended up being a really classy and quite emotional thing. The first 5 minutes is every single wrestler and worker from the promotion standing on the stage with his son. His son's 8 years old, stood in the front with this wrestler led a faction called the Dark Order that all wear these weird masks. Then his son's wearing one of these weird masks, and they've just got these like bells chiming. I think they do 10 or 12 rounds of this bell.
It's got to be 10, right?
It must be 10. It's like a minute's silence, I guess. And yeah, it's immediately like emotional. I think after the second bell, I was like crying. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. But
those 10 bells salutes was ruined slightly by some people in the audience who obviously they couldn't count, and it got to 9 and they started chanting his name, which I think they meant in a nice way, but it was a bit weird.
It was quite nice. But anyway, then the show was like his son had put on all the matches. He'd drawn up who was going to be against who, and he made sure that each match had one of his favourite wrestlers in it, or all three at the end. And that was really nice. It kind of did mean that you knew exactly who was going to win each match, which you kind of know anyway. But it kind of, I don't know, it worked. It gave people who don't usually have a chance to show off how good they might be. Basically, there's a guy called Colt Cabana who I think is just rubbish. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, he's a juggalo.
Is he a juggalo?
He looks like a juggalo. Well, he hasn't got clown makeup on. He looks like a sort of middle-aged man. But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I think I saw something on YouTube about the Gathering of the Juggalos, and I think he's the guy that puts on all their wrestling.
No.
I think so. And I think he said something really horrible too, but I can't quite remember the details.
Well, basically, he ended up being quite good in his match, which is quite nice. And, you know, I can probably get by watching him now.
Imagine being an 8-year-old boy. I mean, no, oh God, Christ, his dad's dead, so this isn't exactly.
It's
But I mean, imagine being an 8-year-old boy and just given the chance to book all your dream matches.
It's pretty.
I suppose it's, if you're a big fan and stuff, it's a really nice gesture, I think.
Yeah, no, it was. Bless. They'll be looked after. Oh, and they signed him. Shit, I completely forgot
Oh,
that.
yeah, I read
he's
that.
He's now in -1. They said when he's 18, he can have a wrestling contract. He's 8 now, so he's got 10 years. They said that they'll sign him. You know, hopefully AEW exists in 10 years. But,
yeah.
But yeah, that was quite nice. So yeah,
Hopefully the world exists in 10 years.
Oh God, don't. Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was quite a touching thing in a way that you wouldn't really expect professional wrestling to be, as a rule.
Yeah.
My last one is just a really quick mention of something completely random that we happened to watch last week. It is a TV show that was on, must be the best part of 20 years old, called The Trap.
This one's 2007, this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's an Adam Curtis documentary series. It's 3 parts. And it's just amazing. And I just wanted to bring it up and say if you're in the mood for some pretty highbrow, quite philosophical watching, then check out The Trap.
I mean, I watched it. But...
Yeah. No, that was radio. Yeah. No. So basically, it's really complex, and I'm going to butcher it. But basically, it's about the concept of freedom and the way that over the course of about 20 years, the meaning of the word freedom has kind of been changed. And so whilst we all feel like we're getting freer and freer, actually, in reality, a lot of freedoms are being taken away. And it goes into a lot of stuff about psychiatry and mental health. It talks a lot about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And, loads and loads of other stuff.
I remember something, I've just written it down and hope you might see it, but
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It
was about different people applying. I remember now, it was in the 50s, it was all based in Cold War, wasn't it? And it was about, I can't remember why it started, it was about game theory.
Yeah.
And game theory relies on people being selfish and self-seeking. Their only point, the reason they do everything is to continue existing.
Capitalism, basically.
Yeah, the thing that makes capitalism work.
Or not.
Well, I don't know, it still exists. But, and it was about loads of people's ways in which... loads of theorists who were figuring out the Cold War used it, and they kind of theorised that people were like that, to make their equations work.
Yeah.
But then, like Dave said... people's idea of freedom gets manipulated by what they think, how free do you think you actually are? And it's just about different politicians having used game theory over time. It's what led to politicians letting the market dictate politics.
Yeah,
I think the government, it was a done thing in America that the government said, we're letting the banks and the market dictate policies and dictate.
I mean, I don't think they ever came out and said that
No,
they
I
were
think
doing
there
that.
was- there was one person that did. I
No,
can't
they
remember
did
who it
do.
was.
They unquestionably did do it, but I think the point was
Yeah.
that was more found out later on, and it was only looking back on it as a historical thing that it became obvious, like the sort of weird games that politicians and big business were playing, really. And I mean, the thing is, like we say, best part of 15 years old. So obviously, all of this stuff has probably got 10 times worse.
Yeah.
There's parts of it that almost feel like the world was quite quaint in 2007 in comparison to 2020. But it's an amazing thing. It really is.
Yeah.
And actually, we've watched a few Adam Curtis things recently, and I would actively encourage anybody to watch pretty much any of them. I think he's brilliant.
What are the ones we watched? There's one called Century of the Self.
Yeah, that's great. That's quite famous. I think
that's
if anybody's ever heard of any of his stuff, I think
that.
it might.
And
be
Hypernormalization must be the other big one.
Well, I think that's the most recent one.
Yeah.
That's only a couple of years old, and that brings Trump into it and stuff. And a lot of it's kind of all covers a similar ground, but it's a very interesting ground, and he's very clever at the way he does it.
No, he's a good one. For something far less highbrow, each show, I figured at this point I was going to try and scour the Norfolk news, because I'm from Norfolk. My accent isn't showing it off right now, I don't think. Sometimes it does. I'm going to do my best now.
You need to do this part in the Norfolk accent, otherwise it's...
I'll do my very best. I will. So I've been reading...
That's the girl I fell in love with.
I'm going to do this a bit normally. So there's a newspaper called the Eastern Daily Press, EDP for short, but Dave won't let me call it that because it sounds like a racist
It sounds like
faction.
a racist political party.
I mean, it might be, in
It
fairness.
totally does. Well, yes.
Who knows? Norfolk, lovely, gotta love them. So, I was going to do one about, I found one my brother sent me about a farmer having 300 feet of hedge stolen.
He lost his edge. I can't do it.
You can't do it. Don't even start. Don't even start. But then I found this other one today, so I'm going to just read you a bit of this lovely article I found. It's on the EDP website. It was end of November. It is under a section called Weird Norfolk, which I think I'm going to start reading a bit more often. And it's called The Ghost Donkey of Honin. It could be Honing, I don't know. But anyway, Honin. I don't know. It's North Norfolk. I'm from East Norfolk. I only know the 10 miles around
You got beef with North, have you?
No. Well, I don't know. I've never been there. So, let's hear more about this. A ghostly donkey is said to haunt the church at Honing. Oh, very good. In a lonely corner of North Norfolk, there's a ghost donkey breathing great clouds of sulphuric smoke from its nostrils. Oh, good God, yes.
Are they making a movie about it? Are they going to do Ghost Donkey?
Shall we?
Us.
Well, okay.
We can't even do a fucking podcast.
So, this wonderful church in somewhat a lonely position, it talks about where it is. It's a quiet sacred spot, not one where you would expect to encounter a white donkey with sulphurous smoke pouring from its flared nostrils, particularly a transparent one, with the ability to gallop straight through a church wall. As the witness to a strange beast's appearance watched in amazement, the beast passed at him at a pace, and he realised that he could see straight through it to the hedge beyond him. The stolen hedge.
Not the stolen
not
hedge.
the stolen hedge.
I suppose that was in East Norfolk.
Oh, hello, I didn't notice this. Donkeys are referred to in myth and folklore and are mentioned countless times in the Bible. Yeah, we know that. But what else does this say? Europeans once used hairs from the cross-shaped markings on a donkey's back and shoulders as a remedy for illnesses such as measles and whooping cough.
Whooping cough? You mean whooping?
Listen to this. 1400 AD, one physician listed riding backwards on a donkey as a cure for scorpion stings.
How many scorpions are there in Norfolk?
Well, no, this is any old donkey. It doesn't have to be a Norfolk donkey.
Oh, I presume this
That's
was
just-
a Norfolk mystic.
This is wonderful. Let's learn a bit more. And what about donkey ghosts? According to the marvellous paranormaldatabase.com, the ghost of a donkey that was tragically beaten to death by its owner, haunts the appropriately named Donkey Inn in Tilford in Surrey, while a pale donkey is spotted at Christmas at Newton Heath in Dorset. Sounds like there's where its master was robbed and murdered. God, these donkeys are everywhere.
I wish you could see the surprise on Siobhan's face at every fact.
I've
that
read
she
this loads of
discovers.
times. I'm still very... what else it's saying? Oh, wow. A large black dog has been seen climbing out of a hedge before transforming into a donkey. Oh, my God. And standing on its hind legs. And in somewhere in Wales, a ghostly donkey was seen by a driver. God, these ghostly donkeys are everywhere. Ghost donkeys are a thing.
So if anybody out there has ever
stop
seen
that now.
a ghost donkey or has a story about a ghost donkey, we're particularly interested in.
I'm keen now.
in the subject.
Tell me more.
Please do email us at shamcityroasters@gmail.com.
Please do.
About
yeah.
anything, but specifically ghostly donkeys.
Yeah, I mean, Norfolk is wonderful. To be honest, when the news, I don't really read the news at all anymore, but at times when the news is really horrible, and especially like when we lived in London, it was just sad news all the time because everything was sad in London. You'd look at it really
Ouch.
was. Apart from Norfolk news is a wonderful reprieve from that. You can go and read some of that, and it'll make you feel much happier about the world. For a little while, there was a live camera on the top of Norwich Cathedral filming peregrines hatching, and I'm not even kidding. This went on for about 3 months. It was fascinating.
That sounds wonderful.
But anyway, we'll shut up about this. Did you have any more news bits?
No, I didn't. No, you've absolutely blown me out of the water with that fucking ghost donkey.
Ghost
story.
donkey takes it. So anyway, we will play a song now because we've been babbling too long. So this next song is from a band called Nosebleed. Most people probably are aware of Nosebleed. They're from Leeds. This song is called Make Up Your Mind. It's from their forthcoming second album, Dance with the Devil. It's due out this year on TNS Records. They just released a video for this where they're in their classic suited attire, but this time not very classic to them. They're traipsing around some woods.
I think there might be a ghost donkey in it, you know.
Is there a ghost donkey?
I don't know, I haven't
I
watched
watched
it that
it, but I
closely.
didn't see no ghost
I've seen the
donkey.
corpse. I feel like there might be a ghost donkey now. We're going to have to
I hope
rewatch
so.
the video too.
Someone better remake that video if not. But anyway, so that's pretty good. They've also released loads and loads of merch literally a couple of days ago. I think they did it on New Year's Day, which is really good. Elliot designed all that stuff. I think there's a hot sauce. It's not
There
a
is
hot sauce, it's a barbecue sauce.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
That's really nice. So anyway, enough of my chat. We'll play the song now. So this is Nosebleed with Make Up Your Mind.
And I can remember what you said to me, and I can't describe now, baby, what you want me to be. And I have been
That's a bit good, isn't it?
That's really good. I like that. It's a bit different.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a departure from everything else that I've heard of theirs.
Yeah.
I would say. It's kind of got a bluesy feel to it. I really like that long guitar solo at the end. I'm not really a fan of guitar solos normally, but that's a bit
good.
of a banger. That.
Having a little headbang in here. It was quite cool. I like it. That's good. And it's like you get a little earworm in your mind. Earworm in your mind? Fuck knows what I'm talking about.
Siobhan dropped some acid while we were listening to them.
No, but I did find myself singing it to myself quite a lot. So very good one there, boys.
Yeah, nice one.
Nice.
Okay, so we wanted to talk a little bit about 2020.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously a bit weird. Been a bit weird for everybody.
Yeah.
A bit shit for everybody. And certainly our lives have changed a great deal in the course of 2020, as has everybody else's. I don't really want to dwell too much on the negative stuff. We've got some. Well, we'll get onto the posy bit at the end. Let's get the shit out of the way.
It's
shall
not
we?
shit.
So obviously for us, when we started 2020 as businesses, as Champ City Roasters and Deadbeat Donuts, we used to run a cafe in Hastings Old Town, and basically that's shut during lockdown.
Yeah.
And our business as a result have obviously changed a great deal. I'm concentrating a lot more on mail order, and I've been able to do a lot more stuff with coffee roasting, which is kind of obviously the thing that I do, but which ended up being a cafe. Siobhan's done. Well, I'll let you say.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no. So I beforehand, like, I'd set up Deadbeat Donuts as a kind of way to name what I was doing, but I was doing it out of the cafe, and then, to be honest, mostly working at the cafe and not really getting a lot of focus on the donut stuff. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to think timeline, how to even think about it.
It feels like a really long time ago, I think.
It was a long
but it does
time
to me,
ago
I think, to you
now,
as well. Like it feels like we're doing something completely different with our lives.
Yeah.
Than we were then.
And I guess, I mean, I'm now thinking that, to be honest, there's a lot of people that I don't know who's listening to this. So is anyone listening? Hello. But whether it's going to be, I know, but whether it's people that are listening because we know them, or via music, or whether it's via the cafe. And if it is via the cafe, we may not have actually been able to say goodbye to you guys because, you know, the lockdown started, the cafe closed as everything closed. And then I think people were expecting us to come back. But we... I mean, let's not talk about it too much, but it was a lot of toing and froing, and we closed quite early in the... It was about after, 2 months rent had gone out, and we thought, nah, let's... there was a lot of toing and froing and thinking. So we closed a long time ago now. We haven't had a chance to say goodbye to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Life's changed a lot. We don't get to see people on a daily basis like we did before.
Yeah.
So we do recognise that it is quite sad that the cafe's not around. But, like Dave was saying, we've taken, you've got to kind of take what you can and make the best of it. We don't have the cafe now, but, we have our separate businesses with our full focus on them now. So, like Dave was saying, he's roasting coffee a lot more and focusing on it. And I, like I said, wasn't focusing on donuts that much. Whereas now I am.
Yeah, I think it's about
it's a good
developing
thing.
those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's meant I've been able to do a lot more sort of short runs and do more, merch ideas and all sorts of different things, really. And there's a lot of development still to come that I've been doing a lot of work towards in the future. And I feel like you've sort of done the same, really, with lots of new different donuts and developing it as more of a kind of delivery service.
Just trying to get like the actual like procedures of running a business from home, which is really weird. I mean, it's nice, but it's really weird. You have to kind of make sure the procedures are in place so you don't just roll out of bed and do things at your own leisure, which is what we are doing
I think,
in some way.
what we've done, which is not in any way a kind of secret to anyone's success, but I think has worked for us, is in our lives to develop really clear routines every day. And I think that's how we've more or less not gone mad during lockdown. I mean, we have gone a bit mad.
Yeah, as is everyone, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think the way that we both dealt with it is just to basically kind of almost do the same thing at the start of every day.
Yeah.
which has involved a bit of exercise and a bit of creative
Reading
things,
more,
reading more. Yeah, just kind
Yeah.
of not spending the time either thumbing
Dilly-dallying.
through Facebook or thumbing through Netflix and trying to find some shit movies to watch,
Which
like
will
Snake Out of Compton.
we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, kind of going alongside that sort of thing, like one thing that I've kind of my little, I don't know, take home lesson from the last year is like a pandemic has happened to us. We can't do anything about it. There's so much we can not control in our lives right now. Like we're in our third lockdown as of this morning. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, it's trying to remember. We're trying to think, be conscious of how much energy you put towards things you can't control. Like, I don't know. I'm annoyed that I can't go out again, but
Miss the pub.
yeah, I do miss the pub. But it's about kind of taking responsibility for your own happiness in that respect. Like, okay, I know I can't do these things. What can I do? And it does. That's why, people have started making bread and, I don't know, doing all these other weird and wonderful things. But it did lead to, I don't know, a lot of, like Dave said, we've picked up healthy routines that we're trying to keep up now. And you've got to do it. It's not, I don't know when this is going to end. We have to think about keeping ourselves sane, and that's within our responsibilities to do. So yeah, I don't know.
I think it was amazing at the start of lockdown. So many people just seemed to suddenly find some creative urge of various different types. Whether it was suddenly people that I knew or vaguely knew had become painters or bakers or writers or whatever. And I think it's I think that was really inspiring. I think it became less obvious as the longer it went on, I think, because everyone just got fucking annoyed.
Yeah, people are getting a bit neggy now.
And I understand. Yeah.
But do you know what? Someone shared the other day, I think it was a Guardian article someone shared, and I didn't read it properly, but the title made me think, actually, yeah, that's true. It was something about, oh God, I'm going to paraphrase it terribly now. It was like, this is the year that I learned that work wasn't enough to fulfill me. And it's like, actually, it's about time people learnt that lesson. Like, your job can't... I mean, unless you have a really wonderful, amazing job that is exactly the thing you want to do, which, credit to you if you've got it, but for all those people that maybe even think that that's what you do, if that makes sense. Like for example, I am a nurse, but a few years ago I realised that's definitely not everything I'm going to do in my life. And it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because then it frees you up to do other things. And I think this year, people being forced not to do work in the same way they were, it forces you to look outside of it the rest of your life and think, actually, I could be doing something else, even if it's, I don't know, reading more or trying a new hobby or, I don't know, doing something a bit creative with your life. You're like, oh yeah, shit, work doesn't have to be everything. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope everybody at the end of all of this, once things are a bit more normal... Oh, our cat's just jumped up on the table.
No, don't drink my
drinking,
water.
Drinking Siobhan's water.
Oh, you won't.
So, just to finish up this year, we wanted to do a little bit of positivity, which I understand is kind of hard to accept, really, with the state of the world as it is. But I think it's important to try and think about some of the positive things that's happened. And found this website, which I've never heard of before, called Future Crunch. And at the end of last year, they put out a story which was 99 good news stories from 2020. And I thought there was some really important stuff. And the point of this is basically that these are exactly the sort of stories that just don't get shared at all. And I think as a result of that, we all get an extremely negative version of the world. And being that the world is fairly negative at the moment, it obviously just adds to that. So I think it's important to think about some of these things. I'd really recommend having a look at this thing. Like I say, Future Crunch. You can find it on the internet.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So it's got a load of environmental things. There's loads of really good environmental things. We're just going to pick a couple out. To be honest, these are a little bit random. If I might start first.
Yeah.
The Poland, which is the world's third largest fur producer after China and Denmark, banned fur farming completely.
Oh.
And the world's largest fur auction house, which is in Poland, has announced that it's going to have to close its door within the next 3 years because no one's buying fur anymore. And I think that's fucking great.
That's fucking awesome. So on a similar kind of animal welfare one, I've got this one. Attitudes in China towards eating wild animals has changed drastically in 2020. Up to 90% of the public now support strict bans on the trade and consumption of wildlife. More than 15,000 people were prosecuted for wildlife crimes. And China has also removed dogs from the list of animals that can be treated as livestock, which signals the beginning of the end of the sale of live dogs for food and fur, which is really good. I know there's that horrible festival that happens every year, so it looks like that is over. I think it got cancelled. This was the first year it got cancelled as well, true, so that's on the way out, which is good. I know a lot of people share stuff about that come that time of year, so maybe that's the end of that.
There was a major breakthrough in 2020 in the fight against AIDS. A new antiretroviral administered as an injection 6 times a year was shown to be 89% more effective at preventing HIV in women compared to standard ARVs, which were being taken as a daily pill, so obviously it's much easier to take as well. And it's been described by the New York Times as a major advance, and I don't think we can overemphasise its importance, which I think is fucking great. Yeah.
No, I like that.
And actually, just to say, AIDS deaths continue to fall as well. Sweet. The number of people dying from that disease has fallen by 5.4% in the last year, which is fucking great.
Good. I like all that. That's good to hear. I've got one. It's about peace, safety, human rights. In this one, it's a new report by the Global Peace Index showed that since 2007, the majority of the world's countries, which includes 113 countries, have reduced their armed forces, and 100 have reduced military expenditure, and both imports and exports of weapons have reached their lowest levels since 2009.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So we can stop shooting each other a bit.
That's good. Italy abolished anti-immigrant decrees installed by former populists and reinstated humanitarian protection for migrants and refugees. The government's also cut the time needed for citizenship applications from 4 years to 3. Which I think is great, and obviously we're in a bit of a funny position with Europe at the moment, but let's hope that it goes across the whole of Europe and includes us in some way.
And I'm going to do this one. Is about it's got a link to the corona pandemic. It's under a section called Living Standards. It's probably the last one I'm going to do. The coronavirus pandemic raised serious questions about whether authoritarian regimes were better at handling pandemics than democratic societies. They weren't. 8 of the top 10 most successful responses came from democracies. Success appeared to rely less on being able to order people into submission and more on having a high degree of trust and societal compliance.
I will just do one more that just jumped out to me just then, which is that Pakistan have approved a new anti-rape law prohibiting the disclosure of the identity of rape victims, created a national sex offenders register, abolished antiquated 2-finger testing, and setting up special courts for rape cases.
I mean, go look at that website. What is it? Future Crunch, did you say?
Crunch, yeah.
There's 99, and I remember when Dave found it, he was just flicking through it and he was just having a nice little smile to himself. Yeah. It's nice. It's full of nice positive things, which we could all do with on the day of our 3rd lockdown.
Yes. Yeah. Stay strong, everybody. And with that in mind, we're going to go to another song now. This next song is by a band called Corrupt Vision, who are from Orange County in California. They have it's from a flexi-disc split that they put out in last year. It's a split with a band called Disparo from Australia. I'm a part of the Toxic What's It collective, and obviously we've not been able to put on gigs for almost the best part of the year. But
we miss gigs.
We do miss gigs, and but in the absence of those, we've actually started a record label, and one of the releases that we've put out is this split 7-inch between Corrupt Vision and Disparo. Corrupt Vision are kind of like a crack rock steady band, and the singer is Tommy, who runs No Time Records, who release mostly cassettes, and they put out loads of UK bands on cassette, and bands from all over the world as well. Well worth checking out No Time Records, particularly if you like analog things. And yeah, so this is Corrupt Vision, and the song is called Useless God. Welcome back to the Breakfast Punks podcast.
The Breakfast Punk.
We are now going to do a section which we have called Sweet Sweet Trash.
It's the trash, isn't it?
It's the sweet, sweet trash.
Yeah, Sweet Sweet Trash.
As you can imagine, we've called it that because Dave has found another interstitial, his word, bit. Very keen on those. There'll probably be loads more.
I hope
We get
so.
to do this every couple of weeks.
Yeah. So, yes, we're going to do a film called Snake Outta Compton.
You know I hate snakes! Fuck the police!
You are such a goddamn artist. Why don't you bust a rhyme right now?
You standing right here in this very spot in this strip club. Step into me?
Any moron can bust a rhyme, right?
Oh! Ho, ho.
Been I'm flowing for days, bros to the touch, ice flood in my veins. West is the style we claim. 1989, yeah, the snake, I'm cold blood. I be sliding through your city life. Sliding through your city life.
Oh my god. As you can tell, this film is fucking amazing from that
really-
little sound bit. So yeah, Snake Outta Compton came out in 2018. Who made it? I don't even think we care.
Oh, we do.
I can't even see his name on here anymore. John Conderlike?
No, it was Hank Braxton.
Oh, Hank Braxton. Oh, and John Conderlike is one of the actors in it. I think he's responsible for some of this stuff. Yeah, he produced it. There we are.
There's an awesome actor in this as well, and his name is Motown Morris.
Oh yeah, Motown Morris.
Fucking amazing name.
So anyway, I'm sure you're all keen to hear what it's about. It is, I'm going to read it off the back, the hip-hop monster movie the world's been waiting for. You didn't know you were waiting for it, but, you know, you were, apparently, and they've made it, so that's good. So this is what it's about. A rap group on the verge of signing their first record deal is the city's only hope in a battle with a giant mutating snake monster. There's a giant motherfucking snake on the loose of the streets of Compton, the world's most dangerous city with the most dangerous rap group, harassed by the most dangerous police force, will now battle with the world's most dangerous big-ass snake. Wow, can you believe it? Beware of terrible rhymes, unfriendly fire, and monstrous fangs in this unpredictable... query that. An outrageous satire of creature features,
It's so
urban gangster
unpredictable,
films,
by the way.
and hip-hop culture. Yeah, I mean,
What
there's
about
some
the bit,
weird shit in it.
the tramp who gets the snake up the butt?
Well, you're giving away the best bit.
So unpredictable.
Yeah, no, this film is ridiculous. So basically, a snake falls off a plane, lands on some policeman's window.
Yeah.
A geek finds an egg from this snake.
Yeah.
A geek that lives with a dangerous rap group.
They're not very dangerous.
They're not dangerous
Really
at all.
nice.
One of them's got the best outfit on. The main guy's got this purple cut-off denim vest with studs on and fluorescent yellow leopard print jeans. Look it up. He looks amazing. He's called Cam. Look up Cam from Snake Outta Compton because he's got the best outfit. But anyway, this nerd gets these eggs and makes a mutant snake in his lab that he obviously has in his house and does a growth ray to it. It gets big. It escapes. And it goes into LA.
Hilarity ensues.
And yeah, then these police guys are after the gang. They're not a gang. Oh wow, that's rude. After the
Well, no, they
rap-
are supposed to be a gang.
Oh, they're meant to
They're
be a
just
gang,
like
aren't
the
they?
nicest
they're
gang.
rubbish.
I will say Compton looks so suburban and
Yeah.
nice in this. I mean, I think it probably is. It's probably been really gentrified, but it's really
Yeah.
funny to have a film that's like Snake Outta Compton, but
And it's-
they literally look like they just live in, you know, Leamington Spa. Or
In
something.
fairness, I think the whole point is like they're pretty rubbish at being like
They're not.
they're the sensible ones the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, sensible as anyone can be in a film about a massive snake. And yeah,
And
it's
what
just-
a snake.
And what a
The
snake.
CGI. Actually, in fairness, the CGI probably isn't the worst thing in the entire world. It's really fucking bad.
I think the
But-
snake penis jokes are probably the worst.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
There's so
there's a lot,
many.
I would say most jokes, if you can call them that, are probably some sort of comparison between a snake and a penis.
Yeah, it happens a lot. As
It
you can
does.
imagine, probably would in
Yeah.
this terrible, terrible film.
So one thing that
No,
you didn't
it's-
mention is that the two police officers who are kind of like these. Well, one of them's sort of like this hard-boiled dude. Is a complete rip-off of the film Training Day.
Yeah.
And so one of them's more or less playing Denzel Washington, and one of them's
more or less. I mean, he's called Dens.
Yeah.
They're called Dens and
So
Ethan.
basically, one of them's playing Denzel Washington, but he's playing it more over the top.
So ridiculous.
He is probably my favourite actor. I don't know what his name
Favourite
is.
actor?
I think he's absolutely fucking brilliant in this film. He's so amazing. He has the best line. The best line is I don't even know who he shouts this at. He shouts, "Drop your weapons, poo butts."
I mean, sorry if that's the best line. I mean, this film is good. That's
No, come on, drop your weapons, poo butts.
he says poo poo pants quite a lot as well, or
No, I
something
don't
like
think
that.
he does. I think you might have said that while we were watching it a couple of times.
I don't know. There's
But,
just some beautiful bits.
But he's amazing, and basically, so the idea that Training Day film is like a sort of hard-boiled cop with a rookie,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of that is the idea. But the rookie is just this sort of nerdy boy that turned out to be. He's kind of like a weird bit of a sex pest. I don't know. He has to put his arm in a hole at one point, and he gets all his fingers eaten. There's loads of weird shit.
He's
that
not a
happens
sex
between-
pest.
He's kind of weird. He's kind of got. I think there's a darkness to him.
Wow, you're reading into this.
Yeah.
I think the sex pest is the nerd that has sex with the massive snake. Yeah, I mean, that's weird when that happens.
This may be true.
There's loads of horrible bits.
Yeah. So basically, I will say this about this film.
Oh, the homeless scene. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I mentioned that there's a snake in the butt scene, but it happens immediately after the strangest scene where two apparently homeless men. I think they're on like the LA River,
Yeah.
and one of them just says he's going to go and take a shit, basically, but he is reading pornography whilst just squatted on the floor,
Yeah.
and he literally says, "God, isn't it weird that I'm reading pornography and having a shit?" or something like that.
It's very strange.
It's not really explained at all.
No.
It's very odd.
It should be weird. There's a weird bit of like social commentary going on at that bit as well. I don't really understand
it's heavy-handed at best.
Yeah, there's also like an Asian shopkeeper who
he's wicked.
He's very strange. His whole bit is that he hates his wife and his kids, and he just wants
He wants
his
to
life
die.
over.
Yeah.
And he does. The snake swallows him whilst he screams "fuck the police." I don't understand
But
why.
the police aren't even there. I'm not really sure that. I'm not really sure. It's
he's
just,
on his own.
I think there's quite a lot of bits where they just desperately try and shoehorn in NWA lyrics. I think.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly confident that whoever wrote this script has ever even heard a hip hop song. Do you know what I mean? Like the script feels a little bit like one of those things where you feed a bot like 20 rap songs and then tell it
See
to
what
write
comes
your
out.
script for it, because it's just like these completely random sort of supposedly quite street comments that
Yeah.
people just make out of nowhere.
It was bad.
Yeah. So, well, I disagree entirely. I was expecting to do this film specifically because looked so dreadful. I actually thought it was pretty fucking good.
It was
much better.
sadly
than I
very
was
watchable.
expecting. Yeah.
It was over before you knew it.
It was funny, I guess you could say. I mean, there's one point where a stripper gets squeezed by the snake and her boobs pop.
That's true.
And
Though,
you know,
I mean, I did make a few notes on this, and I realised I've written the white guy looks like Ian Watkins.
Ian Watkins, is that
The
the boy
paedophile.
from The Lost Prophets?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's a
Which
man that
one?
looks like
What, the
Ian
guy
Watkins.
in the nice
I
net
think
vest?
he's called Bee's Knees. No,
See,
not that
how
one.
straight
The other
is
guy.
that? Bee's Knees.
Bee's
There
Knees
is
looks
one
a bit
called
like
Bee's Knees.
the Lost Prophets.
One of them's called Pinball.
Pinball.
Yeah, that's not very street either.
No.
I mean, I think they're just taking a guess, I think, at what...
What's
the
that?
DJ is called DJ Spliff.
Is he? I missed that entirely.
Fucking great.
But it's very good, I think.
Yeah. So, okay, so...
I would actually watch it again.
Give it a rating out of 10.
I was going to say 7, but I'm going to tone it down a bit.
You should.
Because that's quite a lot. But more enjoyable than I thought. I'm going to give it a solid 6 because it was always going to be bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Denzel Washington character person is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
He's brilliant.
At the beginning I was like, I don't know if I can do this. By the end, I wanted him to speak all the time.
I just want to watch him forever.
Yeah, he was pretty good. And also there's a character who is the drug dealer who... I don't know who he's meant to be mimicking. He looks a bit like he's trying to be Brad Pitt in his kind of like face. I mean, I don't really know
He's
how to explain
handsome,
that,
is
but
what you
he's quite handsome. But he's got these really bad attempts at plaits, not cornrows, but they are literally loose plaits. He's got this lovely string vest t-shirt on.
Oh, it's beautiful.
He looks a bit like, if you've seen Spring Breakers, I think it's James Franco's character in Spring Breakers.
I think he could have been based on that. But
it could be. I mean,
that
it's
just
very
seems
loose.
too alternative for this film
Yeah,
to even have...
I don't think it will be that. But anyway, he reminds me of that kind of character, and he is quite good as well. So for those two people alone, and all of the ridiculousness and the homeless man butt snake bit, I'm really selling it. 6 out of 10. Dave?
Well, I think I'm going to go lower than that, and one of the reasons was something that we didn't mention, but you told me a little while ago, is that apparently this film cost £28 million to make. And
That's true.
I'm not sure that could possibly be true, but that is definitely what IMDb
But
says.
it took way more than that. I think it's 116,000
million.
million.
If it was 116,000, that would be a horrible...
116 million. Something like
Yeah, I
that.
think
Made a
you're
hell
right.
of a lot of money.
So in
Which
that
is
case,
hilarious.
I feel like $28 million is probably how much it costs to make Apocalypse Now.
Well, this is better than Apocalypse Now.
But, I mean, it's not though, is it? Or
It's
or
shorter.
Taxi Driver. It's definitely it's a
It's
lovely
shorter,
length.
so maybe it's better.
It's a really tight 80 minutes, and some of that is a sort of music video at the end
Oh, you can skip
where
that.
you could probably skip that.
No.
It's not great. All the rapping is out of time in this anyway.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'd probably give Apocalypse Now an 8. And so if this costs the same, I'm gonna have to give this. I'm gonna. I mean,
How
you
do you know
know.
it costs us?
No, I'm guessing. I've no idea. I'm not looking it up. That would take far too much effort. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
A 2!
But I
Harsh.
will say I really enjoyed it.
It was good. It was good. I think.
So that's Snake Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I genuinely would recommend you watch it. So we're almost done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening this far. If you have, I just want to do a quick. I want to do a little bit whereby I play a song, an older song from mostly probably the UK DIY punk scene. Certainly, maybe not just the UK, from the DIY scene. And my thinking with this really is that there's a big hole of music that kind of got lost between the years that everyone kind of harks back to, up to kind of like the 90s probably. And then music that like DIY music that came out before Bandcamp and before Spotify. So it's just a lot of it's like not on the internet anywhere, or and it's sort of been forgotten about. And it's kind of specifically the type of music the era of music that I really got into punk on. So I just thought I'd share a few songs. My plan was that this was going to be all bands that weren't represented on Bandcamp or Spotify or anything, but I'm going to completely go against that with the first episode.
Well
and I'm
done.
going to do a band that I'm fairly sure is available everywhere. I think they're definitely on Bandcamp, I'd say. I'm pretty sure they'll be on Spotify too. And it's basically the first DIY punk show that I ever went to when I was 14.
Dave might say that a lot. Everything's a first.
No, this really was.
This is the first record I ever bought. This is the first gig I ever saw.
I only speak facts.
Mm-hmm.
And but this was when I was 14, I think, I went to see Mr. T Experience and Goober Patrol at the Highbury Garage.
Aww.
And it's literally like the first time that I kind of went to see really underground music. I'd been to gigs and stuff, but bigger ones. And but the first band, the band that sort of opened the show, who I'd absolutely never heard of, were called Broccoli. And so they were the first DIY punk band that I ever actually saw live. And basically I loved them and still love them. And they are a band from Scotland. I think they're from Dundee, but I might be wrong. They
Love a bit of Dundee.
Indeed. They released loads of 7-inches that were all put together on a CD, which is really good. And then they released one proper album, which is called Home. And I should have probably actually written something down for this. I think it was about 97, 98 that it came out. It's a brilliant album. I mean, everything that they did basically is brilliant. I don't really know what happened to them. They basically just stopped at some point. And vanished. And I know that in fairly recent years they had a sort of reformation, but they only played some gigs in Japan, which I think they used to play in Japan a lot, maybe. I'm not really sure. I wonder if one of them lives in Japan. I have absolutely no idea. I should have definitely actually looked this up.
Maybe someone else can.
Yeah, look up Broccoli. But I'm going to play a song called Short Straw Fate. It's from their album Home. It originally came out on Rugga Bugger, I think, on vinyl, and possibly on CD too. But I'm fairly sure it's been re-released since. You bought me a cassette version of
the
it.
cassette. Who put it out? It was Iron Sheik's
Dead
Break Records.
Yeah.
They put out the cassette about 3 or 4 years ago.
I've no idea how that happened either. But,
No, I don't know why.
But anyway, it's a brilliant album, and I really, really recommend that you check out Broccoli. So here they are.
song. Very good choice, David.
It is a lovely song. So
Very
expect
nice.
I think in the future I'll pick something a bit less available.
So the plan is each show Dave's oldie-woldy section.
Yeah.
Well, not oldie-woldy, that's a horrible thing to say.
Old man Dave
He sits in
moans
his corner
about
and he talks about
how
it.
terrible music is nowadays. It's
Don't
not.
mention the 99 to 2001 era, because Dave will harm you.
We might cover that in a future show.
To
We
be
should
honest,
probably
Dave
do that
believes
as a
no
main-
good culture came from that time.
No, I think culture died during that time.
If you can think of anything good that happened, please message us so I can berate Dave with it.
I won't accept it.
Yeah, I know you won't. Cool. Well, that's pretty much the end. Thanks for listening all this time.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, it's been a bit of a. If it has, I mean, we know it's been a bit of a crazy shit show potentially.
Yeah, we didn't do a great deal of preparation. I will say that this is the second time we're recording this.
Oh.
We already sort of recorded a much worse
Don't.
version of this, but I plugged the microphone in wrong.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. So God knows if we'll do this again. But the plan is to do this every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
is the
well,
loose
now we're in
structure.
lockdown, it might be more than that. to be
No,
honest,
we won't
but we'll
harm
see.
you with more than that, don't worry. So thanks for listening. Just a couple of thank you, I guess. We didn't mention it earlier, but our little theme music at the beginning, after the Ian McKay kindly spoke of those words for us, obviously.
Yeah, he's an old friend.
Yeah, old friend. He couldn't have helped us more. We used a bit of music. It's from a band called Werecats. They are wonderful, wonderful people from South East London or South London. I don't really know where Croydon fits.
They're not all
not
from
Croydon, is it?
Only
Thornton
some.
Heath.
They're from London.
All over the place.
Not really.
From South London. And yeah, they're a wonderful band. And that was a bit of their song Apes from Space.
Yes, and it's on their debut 7-inch. They've got an album out since then, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's a couple of years old now. I
Yeah,
think,
exactly. Go check them out anyway, because they're amazing.
Yeah, brilliant.
We'll probably feature them in the
Michael
future.
Douglas sang lead as well on that.
Oh, there was a
film.
Michael Douglas clip. Yes,
Well, no, he provided vocals.
of course.
He's
He's not in Werecats. Please don't.
No, but they're going to thank me when they find out that I got Michael Douglas to sing lead over their song. I think.
Oh God. So anyway, yeah. Thanks to Werecats. Thanks to all the bands that we featured for letting us use their songs.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
much
quite nice.
appreciated. And obviously, if you're in a band or you do anything creative, or you're a part of the DIY punk scene in any way, and you want us to shout about something that you're doing, or you want us to play one of your songs,
Yeah.
please get in contact. Equally, if you want to send us anything,
Yeah.
we'll read emails out on this thing if you want.
As you can tell, this is a very loose structure. We don't really know what we're going to do. So if you've got any good ideas, let us know.
Email us at shamcityroasters@gmail.com. We haven't set up any social media things specifically for this yet. You can find us at Deadbeat Donuts or at Sham City Roasters, and you can contact us there as well. But we may well start an Instagram page or something for this, so that we can share stills from the film Snake Outta Compton.
And all the pictures of the food we ate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also if you've got ideas for what we should be eating and drinking, please let
or
us
if you want to
know.
send us snacks,
please send us snacks.
that would be nice.
That'd be nice. But yeah, so that's probably enough babble from us. It's been a good use of your time, I hope. We're going to end with a song from a band who got together and recorded loads of stuff pre-lockdown, and were due to play their first ever show.
I think in April.
I don't think anyone. They kept their identity secret right up until just before then. I think the plan was probably to keep it a secret until
till
the first
gig,
show.
I think. Yeah.
But obviously, lockdown happened literally a week, 2 weeks before their shows were due, so they didn't get to have the dramatic reveal that they planned. But it's still really good. So this is from Knife Club. We're going to play Remember the Gold Dollar Hoodie. It's a song from their debut album We Are Knife Club. Came out last year on TNS Records. It's got members of Casual Nausea, Nosebleed, Matilda Scoundrels, Faintest Idea and Revenge of the Psychotronic Man. So it's a bit of a super group from the DIY UK punk scene at the minute. And
superb group.
A superb group. Look at that. Dave's been so nice. But yeah, so they're really good. We didn't get a chance to hear as much from them this year as we planned, but they did manage to record a fair bit, so good on them.
Yeah, they seem to be. I presume the gigs will still happen eventually, if gigs ever happen again, because they've done more stuff since this album. They've released a 7-inch, and I think they've done an acoustic, or maybe the 7-inch is acoustic. I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure now. I've second guessed myself.
Yeah.
But we will sign off for now. So thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, we're Breakfast Punks,
We are.
I guess. And this is, we're playing Knife Club. Remember the gold dollar hoodie.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, I know you ain't got a lot of money. And yes, you told me you think that you'd be free. Yes, you said you ain't got a lot of money. But if you